TBR for February. I've decided to take on the TBRvatar however you say it, from BookRoast. She did this really awesome board game to help you make your way through your TBR. That's inspired by one of my favorite shows, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I really loved her Owls and Newts readathon, and I love these challenges with aesthetic time themes for my fandoms. I also have quite a long TBR, and I wanted a better way of picking it than, oh, this is available, or just sucking it up for the longer waits. While I did read a lot in January, while I'm still in school, I want to make sure I'm also encouraging myself to keep reading. And I thought this would be a fun way to do that. I just finished a book cleanse for a few days at the end of January, so that way I can completely start fresh after a few days break from reading. So when you start this challenge, you're supposed to go on a book buying ban till you reach the Avatar state, unless you really don't have anything that works. So this one was a rule I struggled with because I don't buy that many books. I mainly borrow them from the library, so I guess I'll just use that as an additional incentive if I want to buy a book, which I do. So I'm really curious how sustainable this challenge could be. Mainly what I'm concerned with is how I have a lot of books which are kind of popular, and so you can wait months until you actually get them, and you're supposed to be working 1 month at a time for each of these sections. So this is also a little bit challenging because on the board is kind of chutes and ladders style, and you have to walk around a certain path. So I'm gonna try to have a stricter interpretation working through February and March as a trial, and then about halfway through I'll decide if I need to make any changes to make this work for me. So the prompts themselves are inspired by the characters and main things within the TV show, and it's a 78 card deck. Some of these will have a little sign of an extra challenge to work within a specific genre for an element for a bonus point. If you can't do that bonus tile match to a certain genre, you can respin if you don't like what your result was. And there's some tiles which have punishments like you move back. So if you have water, you're supposed to read up fantasy, earth, contemporary, fire, thriller, mystery, air is sci-fi. You don't have to stick to these based on your own TBR, and this was mainly based off of the creators list, and so I'm not being too strict about the genre. Like, you don't have to only work within that genre. If you actually finish the book that you pick, you get 1 tile advance next month, and so you can sort of win sooner. If you don't finish the book, which you interpret as she didn't pick it up, you get a 1 tile penalty, so it will take you longer to get through. I think that she does a no gain, no loss for DNFs. This is also fun because, like other board games, you can play with friends and make it more of a competition. So I used some digital files and a Google spinner to make this work for me. So here's the books I got. Turn 1, I got a 7, which was a blank space, so I drew a card. I got Appa, so cloud on the cover or title, and this has the air bonus. For this, I picked the Storm Runner by J.C. Cervantes. Part of my 2021 goals was to work through some of these Rick Riordan Presents books, since I really like Rick Riordan and I'm really interested in mythology and other cultures. So this book is inspired by Mayan mythology and takes place in modern Mexico. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of similar humor to Rick Riordan. I'm also really loving that there's a volcano being a main feature within the story. That's pretty cool. Alright. Turn 2. I only got a 1, so landed on blank, drew a card. Passing Say, a book from a finished series with Earth. For this, I picked Crank by Ellen Hopkins. I never really knew what this was about, which seems kind of silly now. I saw it all the time when I was shelving at the bookstore I used to work at, since I did a lot with the teen section. This is pretty dense looking from what I remember, so I found that kind of discouraging. Apparently this is part of a finished series, which was hard to find for me, especially because I really wanted this respin credit since I had such a bad spin this time. I feel like it might take me a bit too long. I'll be doing this one as an audiobook, so that way I can double up. I usually do audiobooks for an hour and a half before I go to bed at night to reduce screen time. I'm not sure how much I'll like this because it's focused on drug abuse, so I feel like that's gonna be really difficult to get through. Alright. 3. I got a 7, another blank tile, so I just drew a card. Boomy. Read a book you've heard is a tad odd with the Earth bonus. Clean Sweep by Ilona Andrews was my pick for this. I'm really hesitant to read this, but I did promise my high school friend that if the chance came up, I would. And so she enjoyed it, said it was good, but the reason I'm reluctant is because it has a bit of an odd take on paranormal creatures, and there's something to do with aliens with that, which isn't really my jam, and it, to me, sounds a bit weird, which is why it fits. This also takes place in a small B&B. Could be cool. Right. Turn 4. I got a 5. Dear Bent, go back and draw a card. I ended up using a respin credit because Crank was a bonus credit. I had a contemporary read for that. So I respun, got a 7, landed on blank. So I drew a card. Epilepsy. Read a book you find intimidating with the Earth bonus. For this one, I picked War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy. Okay, so this is actually an interesting story. Sadly, I can never remember if it was this book, Crime and Punishment, that I was supposed to read for my AP Lit class. That year, there was this really bad blizzard where I lived, and we had this week off due to snow that we called Snowpocalypse. Back before all this virtual stuff and snow days were more certain. Sadly, it was one of the books that was dropped from the syllabus, and I've always wanted to read some Russian lit, but I never really had a good excuse, or other things just appealed to me more at the time, and it was more of I feel like I should have read something in this genre than, this sounds like a fun book. I ended up going with War and Peace since it's a longer book, and something in the back of my mind is saying that it's supposed to be Tolstoy that I was gonna read. I'm a bit concerned that it's actually not this because of how long it is, and we weren't given very long to read it, even though it was an advanced class. I really wish I had saved that syllabus so that way I could double check. Okay. Turn 5. I got a 3. I cleared the water section. So I'm going to be reading 5 books this month. I landed on a blank, so I draw a card. I got Kiyoshi, read a book with a POC author with the Earth bonus. For this one, I picked Arusha and the End of Time by Roshani Chokshi. I'm so sorry. I probably said that wrong. So, shock and surprise, I really love this author and the YA books that she's done. And so I'm definitely going to take advantage of a chance to knock out this, since it's an author I love and it's also a Rick Riordan Presents, so it fits in with my goals for the year. The cover is absolutely stunning. This book is about a girl who is mistrusted by her peers due to her love of storytelling to try to fit in. She is challenged to prove herself, and she gets launched into saving the world from a demon, and sort of is drawn into this revitalization of a Hindu epic. It's really cool that this book draws from Hindu and ancient Indian, not only history but lore, which I love hearing about. It's really interesting to me, and I want to know more, especially since this author has done a really good job of it in her other books. Again, 5 books this month, so if I finish them all, I get a really good head start when I do Earth section in March, and I'll probably just do a concluding wrap at the end. Here's hoping. Alright, that's it for this time.